Hello guys, and we're here today with another very interesting deck. We have here today some Amorphage, and this deck I don't see good at all for a variety of reasons. It's a floodgate deck, but it doesn't protect itself very well. You can go from controlling your opponent to having literally nothing and not being able to do anything unless you top deck into Pot of Riches or something, like if you're running Card of Demise or something like that. And so, and even then, Card of Demise wouldn't help because then you want to be able to special summon. So, this deck I don't see as actually good at all. But so let's just go in straight to the deck profile. We're running the Draco Slayers in here because this guy and of course Luster Pendulum can destroy our scales, and that's actually kind of good because it can trigger Lysis, and Lysis can then search through your deck and place any of your Amorphage cards in the Pendulum Zone. Yay! And so it's very useful just being able to do whatever you want. And of course, if you do it with Luster Pendulum, then you get that search as well. So then you have a monster in hand. And then of course we're also running 2 Lecter Pendulum for our Draco Faisal. And then for the Amorphage monsters, they are Floodgates while they're Pendulums. This guy is a Macrocosmos. This guy is a Mistake. This, I don't know a card that prevents effect damage, but he's it. And then he's a Mask of Restrict except for Amorphage monsters, so Monarch's New Birth is still a thing. And then once they tribute, you have to control Amorphage monsters to get these effects. So once that happens, and you don't have, if they get rid of your Amorphage monsters, what I'm trying to say, yeah, they get rid of the effect as well. So Monarch's New Birth can be really annoying with them if you only control one monster. Amorphage Greed will prevent trap cards, except Amorphage trap cards, except like this guy. And this guy will prevent spells, and this guy will prevent monster effects. And so really good Floodgates, definitely really good Floodgates. Having an Imperial Order and having a Skildren, or actually it's more of a Majesty Fiend than anything else. He's more of a Secret Villager, the Spellcaster. This is not very strong because you have to tribute a Amorphage during your standby phase, or these cards in your Pendulum Zone will be destroyed. And so if your opponent can get rid of, if you have 2 scales that are Amorphage monsters, and your opponent gets rid of it, you're screwed unless you have a backup scale. So that can be really awful. That is one reason why I am running the Draco Slayers, because they have the same scales 3 and 5 as the Amorphages, and if you end up not being able to tribute, alright, you still have at least 1 scale. But if you try to go no spells, no monster effects, it can backfire really easily. Or if you go no traps and no monster effects, or no tributing and no monster effects. And I say no monster effects because he's probably the best one to have out. It can just be very annoying. And of course the scales don't even match their level. As you guys can see, these 5 cards are all level 2 and cannot be Pendulum Summoned. These cards right here can be Pendulum Summoned. These, what is that, 7 cards? And then these 2 guys cannot be Pendulum Summoned. They're never going to hit the field. And I honestly don't even like them as scales, but hey, they're somewhat decent as scales. So unless you're going to tribute someone for them, which I don't know why you would, you'd just be going even more minus. Like, yeah, he's a 27 beater and can be even more, and you can reduce your opponent's attack, but no. You're gonna have to get rid of him during the standby phase, so why waste all that for him? So into the spells we have the Regeki, the Upstart, the Pot of Riches, and the triple Duality. We're running Duality because this is a slow deck. You want to slow the game state as much as possible, while this only slows you down, not your opponent. That's another problem with this deck is I am running these 4 Solemn cards here, but it doesn't really like stun. It likes control cards, so if you want to put in Vanities, if you want to put in all these different Floodgates, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Like Rivalry of the Warlords would be a good one to put in here, because this deck does well when your opponent can't play, or when your opponent doesn't make a move, which you're going to make. Even if you have no monster effects, you're going to go Twin Twister. So if you can put something in the deck that can slow the game state out where you don't have to use too many resources to stop your opponent, that's really good. That's definitely puts the advantage in your place, and that's where you will start to see wins. And then of course the Clash of the Draco Rivals for our Draco Slayers. And then double Twin Twister, and then Amorphage, Infection, and a monster you control is destroyed or battled by card effects or attributed. Add an Amorphage card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. And all Amorphage monsters gain 100 attack and defense for each Amorphage card on the field, including itself, so including Infection. So that's definitely very useful. And then of course another Bottomless, another stun card. And then Lysias. Why is this a trap card? This is honestly one of my biggest problems I have with the deck. Like, my biggest problem would be the scales, but my second biggest problem would be this card. Because this card does nothing for being a trap card. Like, why is this card not a continuous spell card? Why do I have to set this and wait a turn? It doesn't really affect my opponent except for the fact that they lose 100 attack for each Amorphage card on the field. And so they lose 100 for this, so yes, that's done, lowering attack and yada yada, you can activate it during the damage step. But if a card in your Pendulum Zone is destroyed, place an Amorphage Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. Why do I have to wait a turn before that can activate? Why can't I just pop this down along with this, activate Master Pendulum, activate like, I don't know, a level 4 because that can be Pendulum Summon, destroy it, and then use this guy's effect to place Gluttony in there? Why do I have to wait a turn? Because that's honestly where I've lost multiple times. I've gone, alright, I'm set up for next turn, I have this, I have Master Pendulum, I have level 4, so it can be Pendulum Summoned back. And then I have to wait a turn. Either this guy goes away because my opponent's playing meta, or it doesn't matter, Twin Twister is generic, and then I just lose because I don't have anything at that point, and Master Pendulum doesn't work by himself, it's just a 3-card combo. So it just really ears me that this card is so slow, and this deck in general is so slow, and yeah. Really not happy with this deck. This could have been a great deck. But it isn't. It is not. And then of course, like I said, the triple or the 4 Solemns. They're good. They're just good. I mean, this deck may not like them too well and may like more control and the floodgates, but what can you do? And for the extra deck, making Dino Stir is definitely a very useful play to do, although if you Pendulum Summon these guys, such as the level 4s, you cannot spell some monsters from your extra deck, so who cares? Yes, if you control any of these Amorphage's monsters, which will flip face up or Pendulum Summoned, or if you just summon out these guys, you cannot spell some from the extra deck. And along with the opponent, which can be really good against different matchups, but nonetheless, you can't make the one card that can protect your scales. And then of course Ignister, if you can make a Utopia with Lightning, just generic rank 4s at this point all around. And then the one generic level 2, I don't know how you're going to get 2 level 2s out on the field unless this guy lasts a turn or this guy lasts a turn. Don't ask me. So, yeah. Besides that, changes I might make is put up some more level 4s, because level 4s are the only thing that can be Pendulum Summoned in this deck, and you definitely want to see them, so that way you have something to summon out, and then you have an Amorphage monster, so that way you get the Floodgate effect, and of course your opponent can't spell summon from the extra deck either. Not that that matters to Cosmos or Monarchs, it only matters to 2 decks this format. I heard that Klees are being played. I saw a Klee deck once a couple days ago, so I think Klees are being played, so that doesn't matter to them either. So yeah, well, they want to be able to Pendulum Summon the monsters. It kind of matters. Anyways, I'm going off on a tangent, so I digress. This deck, if you like this deck, go for it. Hopefully you find something extreme, some combos, some things that makes this deck extremely useful. I even tried Magicians in this deck with Sky Iris, because it was like, oh, I have Sky Iris, I can destroy a card, and then I can use Lias, and I can get a 1/8 scale out, and then I don't have any of the floodgates. Or I can get a 3/8 scale out and be able to summon out most of these, or a 1/5 scale and summon out all these guys. And these two up here. So, I mean, there's different things you can use. You could definitely use a Magician engine in this if you want to. But yeah, this deck, not very strong, not very powerful, very slow, does not slow your opponent down, because Twin Twist is a bitch. Yep. So, hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.